You wake up in 1705, and it's Christmas Eve. Not the Christmas Eve, you know? No electric lights. No carols playing on loop in shopping malls. No last-minute Amazon deliveries. Just cold. The kind of cold that makes your lungs hurt when you breathe. The kind that freezes the mud in the street into jagged sculptures that will slice your feet if you're not careful. You're a messenger, not a hero, not a saint. Just a man with a horse, a satchel full of parcels, and a list of addresses that might as well be written in ancient Greek for all the sense they make. Your job is simple. Deliver gifts to the households listed on your crumpled parchment before dawn. The packages aren't yours. The gratitude won't be yours either. You're just the middleman, the ghost between sender and receiver. But here's the problem. You're lost. Hopelessly, catastrophically, absurdly lost. The snowstorm hit 2 hours ago. It came out of nowhere, like God himself decided to erase the landscape. The road you were following, if you can even call it a road, has vanished under a blanket of white. The trees all look the same. The hills all look the same. Your horse is tired. You're tired. And somewhere in your satchel is a hand-drawn map that's now so soaked with snow, it's basically pulp. You pull your cloak tighter. It doesn't help. The wind screams through the forest like a choir of the damned. Your fingers are numb. Your nose is numb. Your sense of direction is numb. You've been riding for hours, and you haven't seen a single soul. No cottages. No smoke from chimneys. No lights in windows. Just endless snow and endless trees, and the creeping suspicion that you might die out here, frozen solid, clutching a satchel of gifts meant for people you'll never meet. Your horse snorts. She's smarter than you. She knows this is a bad idea, but you press on, because that's what messengers do. You deliver. You don't ask questions. You don't complain. You just move forward, one hoofbeat at a time, until the job is done or you're dead, whichever comes first. Then, through the snow, you see it. A light. Faint. Flickering. Barely visible through the storm, but it's there. A single point of warmth in an ocean of cold. Your heart leaps. Your horse perks up. You steer toward it, half expecting it to vanish like a mirage. But it doesn't. It grows brighter. Closer. A cottage. No, not a cottage. A cluster of cottages. 5, maybe 6, huddled together like frightened animals. Smoke rises from their chimneys. Candlelight glows in their windows. It's not much, but it's civilization. It's shelter. It's life. You dismount. Your legs almost give out. You've been riding so long you've forgotten how to walk. You stumble toward the nearest door and knock. Once, twice, 3 times. Nothing. You knock again. Harder this time. Your knuckles ache. Your breath comes out in clouds. You're about to give up when the door creaks open. A woman stands in the doorway, middle-aged, suspicious, holding a candle that makes her face look like a painting by Caravaggio, all shadows and sharp angles. She looks you up and down, takes in your snow-covered cloak, your frozen beard, your desperate eyes. "Who are you?" she asks. You open your mouth to answer, but the words don't come. Because you realize, in that moment, that you have no idea how to explain yourself. You're a messenger, yes, but you're also a stranger in the night, dressed in red, carrying a satchel of mysterious packages, asking for shelter in the middle of a blizzard. You look like a madman, or worse. You look like something out of a folktale. You start, then stop. Your brain scrambles for the right words. I'm delivering gifts for Christmas. I got lost in the storm. I need shelter. Just for the night. The woman narrows her eyes. Gifts? You nod. You open your satchel and pull out one of the packages. It's wrapped in brown paper, tied with string. Nothing fancy. But it's real. Solid. Proof that you're not lying. She stares at it. then at you, then back at the package. You're delivering gifts? She repeats, like she's trying to solve a riddle. On Christmas Eve? In a storm? Yes. Dressed like that? You glance down at your cloak. It's red. Bright red. You hadn't thought about it before, but now, in the candlelight, it looks almost theatrical. Like a costume. Like you're playing a role. You hesitate. Yes? The woman's expression shifts. Something softens in her face. She steps aside. Come in. You don't need to be told twice. Inside, the cottage is warm. A fire crackles in the hearth. Children peer at you from behind their mother's skirts. An old man sits in a chair by the fire, carving something out of wood. They all stare at you like you're a ghost or a saint. Who is he? One of the children whispers. The woman sets the candle down. She turns to face you. And then, with the faintest hint of a smile, she says, "He's the Christmas man. He brings gifts." You blink. The Christmas man? That's not what you said. That's not what you are. But the children's eyes light up. The old man stops carving. Even your horse, standing outside in the snow, seems to pause. And in that moment, without meaning to, without planning it, you become something else. Something bigger. You've just invented Santa Claus, and you don't even know it yet. If this feels too magical to be true, subscribe before the snow gets deeper, because this is only the beginning. And trust me, it gets stranger. Let's rewind. Because before you became the accidental architect of Christmas mythology, you were just Heinrich Müller, 28 years old. Unremarkable face. Unremarkable life. Born in a village so small, it doesn't even have a name on most maps. Your father was a messenger. Your grandfather was a messenger. You were always going to be a messenger. It's not a calling. It's just what your family does. The job is simple. Rich people hire you to deliver things. Letters, packages, gifts. Sometimes it's a love letter from a merchant to his mistress. Sometimes it's a legal document that will ruin someone's life. Sometimes it's a box of sweets for a child who lives 3 towns away. You don't ask questions. You don't read the contents. You just deliver. It's not glamorous, but it's honest work. And in 1705, honest work is all most people can hope for. You've been doing this for 10 years. You know every road between here and the next province. You know which inns have the best stew. You know which villages have the meanest dogs. You know how to read the sky, how to predict storms, how to keep your horse healthy, even when the roads turn to mud. You're good at this, or at least you were. Until Christmas Eve, 1705. The job seemed straightforward. A wealthy merchant in the city hired you to deliver gifts to several families in the countryside. Nothing unusual. Just packages wrapped in paper, tied with string. The addresses were written on a list. The payment was generous. You accepted without hesitation. You left the city at dawn. The sky was clear. The roads were frozen but passable. You had your map, your list, your satchel. Everything you needed. For the first few hours, everything went smoothly. You delivered the first 3 packages without incident. The families were grateful. They offered you bread, ale, warm places to sit. You declined. You had more deliveries to make. Time was running out. By midday, you were deep in the countryside. The roads grew narrower. The villages grew smaller. The addresses on your list grew vaguer. The cottage near the old oak tree. The house by the frozen creek. The family with the red door. Helpful. By late afternoon, the snow started. At first, it was just a few flakes. Harmless. Beautiful. Even. But within an hour, it became a blizzard. The kind that swallows the world. The kind that makes you question whether you'll ever see sunlight again. You tried to press on. You followed the road, or what you thought was the road. But the snow covered everything. Landmarks vanished. The map became useless. Your horse grew skittish. And slowly, inevitably, you realized the truth. You were lost. Not I'll find my way in a few minutes lost. Lost. The kind of lost where you don't even know which direction you came from. Panic set in. You checked your map again. It was soaked. Illegible. You checked your list. The addresses meant nothing now. You were miles from anywhere familiar. The sun was setting. The temperature was dropping. And you still had 4 packages left to deliver. You considered turning back. But turning back meant admitting failure. Admitting you couldn't do the one job you were hired to do. Admitting you were just another messenger who couldn't handle a little snow. So you kept going. You rode through the storm for hours. Your fingers went numb. Your face went numb. Your thoughts went numb. The world became a blur of white and cold and regret. And then you saw the light. That single miraculous light. The cluster of cottages. The woman in the doorway. The moment everything changed. Now, back to the present. You're standing in the cottage, dripping melted snow onto the wooden floor. The children are staring at you like you're a creature from a storybook. The old man by the fire has stopped carving and is watching you with quiet curiosity. The woman, the one who let you in, is still holding the candle, her expression somewhere between amused and bewildered. You said you're delivering gifts? She asks again. You nod. Yes, I was supposed to deliver them to families in the area. But I got lost. I don't even know where I am. You're in Tannenbach, she says. Tannenbach. You've never heard of it. You glance at your list, but it's too damaged to read. You have no idea if any of these packages are meant for anyone here. I have 4 packages left. You say, I don't know who they're for. The addresses are gone. The woman frowns. She walks over to you, takes the candle closer, and examines your satchel. She pulls out one of the packages and turns it over in her hands. No name, she murmurs. No address. Just a gift. One of the children, a boy, maybe 6 years old, tugs on his mother's skirt. Is it for us? The woman hesitates. She looks at you. You look at the boy. And in that moment, you make a decision. A stupid decision. A reckless decision. A decision that will ripple forward through centuries. You reach into your satchel, pull out all 4 packages, and set them on the table. They're for you. You say. The woman blinks. What? The gifts. They're for you. For your family. For this village. But I don't know who they were meant for. You interrupt. And I can't deliver them in this storm. So, Merry Christmas. Silence. The children stare at the packages like they're made of gold. The old man leans forward in his chair. The woman's eyes glisten in the candlelight. Why? She whispers. You shrug. Because it's Christmas. It's not a good answer. It's barely an answer at all. But it's the truth. And sometimes the truth is enough. The boy reaches for one of the packages. His mother doesn't stop him. He unwraps it carefully, his small fingers fumbling with the string. Inside is a wooden toy. A horse, carved and painted. Simple, beautiful. His face lights up. The other children rush forward. They grab the remaining packages, tearing into them with wild abandon. Inside are more toys. A doll, a spinning top, a set of carved animals. Nothing expensive, nothing extravagant. Just small, thoughtful gifts meant for children somewhere. But to these children, they might as well be treasures. The woman looks at you, really looks at you. And for the first time since you knocked on her door, she smiles. Thank you, she says softly. You nod. You don't know what else to do. The old man rises from his chair. He walks over to you, places a gnarled hand on your shoulder, and says, You'll stay the night. The storm's too dangerous. You'll leave in the morning. You want to argue. You want to say you need to keep moving, keep delivering, keep working. but your body betrays you. Your legs are weak. Your hands are shaking. You're exhausted. "Thank you," you whisper. The woman gestures to a chair by the fire. "Sit, warm yourself. I'll bring you soup." You sit. The children play with their new toys. The fire crackles. The storm rages outside. And somewhere, deep in your frozen, exhausted brain, a thought flickers. What have I just done? Morning comes slowly. The storm has passed. The world outside is white and silent, like someone draped a sheet over the earth and forgot to take it off. You wake on the floor near the fire, your body aching in places you didn't know could ache. Your cloak is still damp. Your boots are still wet. Your horse is still outside, probably cursing your name in whatever language horses use. But you're alive. That's something. The cottage is quiet. The children are still asleep, curled up together like a litter of puppies. The old man is awake, sitting in his chair, carving again. He nods at you, but doesn't speak. The woman is at the hearth, stirring something in a pot. The smell of porridge fills the air. You sit up. Your back protests. "Good morning," you croak. The woman glances over her shoulder. "Morning. You look terrible." "I feel terrible." She smirks. "There's porridge. And bread. Eat." You don't argue. She brings you a bowl and a chunk of dark bread that's probably older than you are. You eat in silence. The porridge is bland but warm. The bread is hard but filling. It's the best meal you've had in days. Outside, the world is waking up. You hear voices. Footsteps in the snow. Laughter. You frown. What's going on? The woman shrugs. Word spread. Word of what? She gives you a look. A look that says you really don't know, do you? About you, she says. The man in red, the one who brings gifts. Your stomach drops. What? Before she can answer, the door bursts open. A child stumbles in, not one of hers, someone else's, followed by a woman you don't recognize. Is he here? The child asks breathlessly. The Christmas man? You freeze. The woman by the hearth sighs. Yes, he's here. The child's eyes go wide. The other woman, presumably the mother, steps forward, holding something wrapped in cloth. We heard what you did, she says. For the Bauman family. We wanted to thank you. She holds out the cloth. Inside is a loaf of bread. Fresh. Still warm. You stare at it. I didn't do anything. You gave them gifts, the mother says. On Christmas Eve, in the storm. You could have kept going, but you stopped. You gave. You open your mouth. Close it. Open it again. I was lost. I didn't. It doesn't matter. The woman by the hearth interrupts. What matters is what you did. More voices outside. More footsteps. The door opens again. This time, it's a man. Older, weathered. He's holding a jug. For the Christmas man, he says gruffly. Ale. From my cellar. You take it because you don't know what else to do. Then another person arrives. And another. And another. Within an hour, the cottage is packed. Villagers crowd inside, spilling out into the snow. They bring gifts. Bread. Cheese. Smoked meat. A pair of gloves. A scarf. A carved wooden cup. They bring their children. The children stare at you with wide, hopeful eyes. Tell us a story, one of them begs. Where do you come from? Another asks. Are you magic? A third whispers. You look at the woman by the hearth. She's trying not to laugh. You did this, you mutter. She shrugs. You did this. You realize, with growing horror, that she's right. Last night, you gave away gifts that weren't yours to give. You lied, sort of, and said they were for this village. You dressed in red. You arrived in a storm. You played the role without meaning to. And now, these people think you're something special, something magical, a gift giver, a saint, a symbol. You're not. You're just Heinrich, a messenger, a man who got lost. But they don't know that. And maybe you realize they don't want to know that. One of the villagers, a tall man with a thick beard, steps forward. Will you stay? He asks. Just for today. Let us celebrate. Let the children see you. You want to say no. You want to get on your horse and ride away and never look back. But then you see their faces, the hope, the joy, the belief. And you think, what's one more day? I'll stay, you hear yourself say. The villagers cheer. The children cheer. Even your horse outside seems to cheer. Or maybe she's just annoyed. Hard to tell with horses. They call it a celebration, but it's more like chaos. The villagers drag you outside. They've set up tables in the snow. There's food. There's drink. There's music. A fiddle. A flute. Something that might be a drum but looks like a cooking pot. You're seated at the center. A place of honor. People keep bringing you things. More food. More drink. More gratitude. The children gather around you. They ask questions. So many questions. Where do you live? Do you have a workshop? How do you carry all the gifts? Why are you dressed in red? You answer as best you can. You lie. You improvise. You make things up on the spot. I live far away, you say. In the mountains. I have helpers, you add. Elves. Tiny elves. You have no idea where that came from, but the children love it. I travel at night, you continue, so no one sees me. And the red? One child asks. Why red? You glance down at your cloak. Because red is the color of warmth. And Christmas should be warm. It's nonsense. Beautiful nonsense. But it works. The children hang on every word. As the day goes on, something strange happens. The villagers start organizing. They divide tasks. Some prepare more food. Some gather wood for fires. Some decorate the square with branches and ribbons. What are you doing? You ask the bearded man. He grins. We're making this proper. A real Christmas celebration. The first one this village has ever had. But Christmas is tomorrow, you point out. Not anymore, he says. Now it's today. Because you're here. You blink. They're rewriting the calendar. For you, this is getting out of hand. By evening, the village is transformed. The square is filled with light. Candles in windows. Torches in the snow. Fires in barrels. It looks like something out of a dream. The villagers gather. They sing, badly, but with feeling. The children dance. The adults drink. Someone plays the fiddle. Someone else plays the cooking pot. You sit in the center, overwhelmed, exhausted, and deeply, deeply confused. The woman from the cottage sits beside you. You've done something incredible, she says. I got lost, you reply. You gave them hope, she corrects. In the middle of winter. In the middle of nothing. You gave them something to believe in. You stare at her. I'm a messenger. Not anymore, she says. And she's right. Because somewhere between knocking on that door and sitting in this square, you stopped being Heinrich Müller, messenger. You became something else. The Christmas man. The gift giver. The myth. And the myth is just getting started. You leave Tannenbach at dawn. Or at least, you try to. The villagers gather to see you off. They bring more gifts. Bread for the road, a flask of ale, a new pair of gloves because yours are falling apart. The children cling to your legs. The adults shake your hand. The old man gives you a carved figure of a horse. For luck, he says. You thank them. You promise to return. You're lying, but it's a kind lie. You mount your horse. She's rested, fed, and somehow less annoyed with you than she was yesterday. You adjust your satchel, now empty of packages, but full of food and gratitude, and turn to leave. Wait, a child shouts. You stop. A little girl runs forward. She's holding something. A drawing, crudely done, in charcoal on a scrap of parchment. It shows a man in red, standing in the snow, surrounded by children. "This is you," she says shyly. "You take it." Your throat tightens. "Thank you." She beams. You tuck the drawing into your satchel, give the villagers one last wave, and ride away. Behind you, they cheer. Ahead of you, the road stretches out into the snow. You don't look back. The ride back to the city takes 2 days. The weather holds. The roads are clear. You encounter no storms, no disasters, no unexpected detours. It's almost boring. Normal. But your mind is anything but normal. You replay the events of the past 2 days over and over. The storm, the cottage, the gifts, the children's faces, the villagers' hope, the way they looked at you like you were someone important, someone magical. You're not magical. You're Heinrich, a messenger who got lost, but they don't know that. And the more you think about it, the more you realize they don't need to know that, because what you gave them wasn't magic. It was something simpler, something rarer. You gave them a story about a man in red who delivers gifts in the dead of winter, a man who appears out of nowhere, helps those in need, and vanishes into the night, a man who embodies generosity, warmth, and hope. It's a good story. Maybe the best story you've ever been part of. And stories, you realize, have power. When you finally reach the city, you're exhausted. Your horse is exhausted. Even your satchel looks exhausted. You head straight to the merchant who hired you. He's a large man with a larger beard, sitting in a warm office surrounded by ledgers and coins. "You're late," he says without looking up. "I got lost," you reply. He grunts. "Did you deliver the packages?" You hesitate. Yes, it's not entirely a lie. You did deliver them, just not to the people they were meant for. The merchant finally looks up. He studies you, takes in your worn cloak, your tired eyes, your snow-damaged boots. "You look like hell," he observes. "I feel like hell," he smirks. "Here." He tosses you a small pouch. Coins jingle inside. "Your payment. Now get out." You take the pouch. You don't count it. You just leave. Outside, the city is alive with activity. Merchants shouting. Children playing. Bells ringing. It's Christmas Day. The streets are decorated with greenery. People are smiling, laughing, celebrating. You walk through it all in a daze. You delivered gifts to the wrong people. You lied to a village. You invented a persona. You should feel guilty, but you don't. You feel proud. Over the next few weeks, you try to return to normal. You take new jobs. You deliver letters, packages, documents. You ride through snow and mud and rain. You sleep in inns and stables, and sometimes just on the side of the road. It's the same work you've always done. But something has changed. People look at you differently now. At first, you think you're imagining it. But then you notice the pattern. When you stop in villages to rest, people whisper. They point. They smile. That's him. You hear someone say, "The Christmas man." You freeze. What? The speaker, a young woman, blushes. "Sorry, it's just..." We heard the story about what you did in Tannenbach, how you delivered gifts in the storm, how you saved Christmas. You blink. "I didn't save Christmas. That's not what we heard." You open your mouth to argue, but she's already walking away, still smiling. It happens again in the next village. And the next. And the next. The story has spread. You don't know how. You don't know why. But somehow, the tale of the man in red who delivered gifts in a snowstorm has become legend. People add details, embellishments, exaggerations. In one version, you rode through a blizzard so fierce it would have killed any normal man. In another, you gave away your own food to feed starving children. In yet another, You performed miracles, healing the sick, blessing the poor, turning water into wine. None of it is true, but people believe it anyway. By spring, the story has reached the city. You're walking through the market when a street performer stops you. He's young, energetic, dressed in bright colors. "You're the Christmas man," he exclaims. You sigh. "I'm a messenger. A messenger who brings joy to children." He grins. "I've been telling you a story. People love it. You're famous." You stare at him. "I'm not famous." "Oh, but you are." "Look, I even made a song about you." He clears his throat and begins to sing. Through snow and wind and darkest night, the Christmas man brings joy and light. With gifts for all, both great and small, he answers every child's call. It's terrible. The rhymes are forced. The melody is off-key. The lyrics are wildly inaccurate. But a crowd gathers. They listen. They clap. They cheer. The performer bows. Then he points at you. And here he is. The man himself. The crowd turns. They stare. You panic. You turn. You run. Behind you, the crowd cheers. That night, you sit in your rented room staring at the ceiling. This is getting out of hand. You're not a hero. You're not a saint. You're just a man who made a mistake and somehow turned it into a myth. You think about going back to Tannenbach, telling them the truth, explaining that you're just Heinrich, that you got lost, that the gifts weren't even meant for them. But then you remember their faces, the hope, the joy, the belief, and you realize the truth doesn't matter. What matters is the story, and the story is bigger than you now. It's spreading, evolving, growing. You can't stop it. You're not sure you want to, because maybe, just maybe, the world needs stories like this. Stories about kindness, about generosity, about strangers who appear in the night and make things better, even if those strangers are just messengers who got lost. By summer, you've become a problem, not for yourself, for everyone else. The merchant who hired you that fateful Christmas Eve summons you to his office. He's not happy. "Do you know what you've done?" he demands. You sit across from him, tired, confused. "I delivered your packages." "You delivered them to the wrong people." "I was lost. And now," he interrupts, slamming his hand on the desk, "everyone thinks I hired some sort of saint to deliver Christmas miracles. I've had people knocking on my door, asking if I can send the Christmas man to their village. Do you understand how absurd this is?" "You understand perfectly." "I'm sorry. Sorry doesn't fix this." He leans back, running a hand through his beard. "But it's also good for business." You blink. "What?" He sighs. "People are talking about me, about my company, about how I'm the one who hired the famous Christmas man. I've had more clients this month than in the entire last year." You stare at him. He stares back. "So," he says slowly, "I'm going to hire you again. Next Christmas. Same job. Deliver gifts. Get lost if you have to. Just do whatever you did last time." You open your mouth. Close it. "You want me to get lost on purpose?" "I want you to be the Christmas man," he says. "It's good for business." You leave the office in a daze. He's not the only one. Over the next few months, you receive letters. Dozens of them. From villages, towns, even a few wealthy families. They all say the same thing. "Please come. Bring gifts. Be the Christmas man." Some offer payment. Others offer food, shelter, gratitude. A few offer nothing but hope. You read each letter carefully. You don't respond to any of them, because you're still processing what happened. You're still trying to understand how a single mistake snowballed into this. A myth, a legend, a symbol. You never wanted this, but it's too late to stop it now. Autumn arrives. The leaves turn gold. The air grows cold, and you start to feel it. The pressure, the expectation. Everyone is waiting for you to do it again. to ride out into the snow, to deliver gifts, to be the Christmas man. But you're not the Christmas man. You're Heinrich, a messenger, a man who got lost. One evening, you're sitting in a tavern, nursing a mug of ale, when someone sits down across from you. It's the woman from Tannenbach, the one who let you in that night. You nearly drop your mug. What are you doing here? She smiles. Looking for you. Why? Because we need to talk. She orders her own ale. She takes a long sip. Then she looks at you with those sharp, knowing eyes. You're planning to run, aren't you? You don't answer. Don't, she says simply. I can't do this again. You say, I'm not who they think I am. I know, she replies. But it doesn't matter. It does matter. No, she interrupts. It doesn't. Because the story isn't about you anymore. It's about them. The people who believe in you. The children who wait for you. The families who hope you'll come. You shake your head. I'm just a messenger. You were just a messenger. She corrects. Now you're something more. And you can't undo that. You stare into your ale. The foam has settled. It looks flat. Lifeless. What if I fail? You ask quietly. She leans forward. Then you fail. But at least you'll have tried. You look up at her. Why do you care? She smiles. Sad. Warm. Real. Because you gave my children something I couldn't. Hope. Magic. Belief. And I want them to have that again. I want everyone to have that. She stands. Places a few coins on the table. Think about it. And then she's gone. You sit there for a long time, staring at your ale, thinking about her words, about the children, the villagers, the letters, about the man in red who delivers gifts in the snow. And you realize she's right. It's not about you anymore. It never was. You decide to do it again, not because you want to, not because you're the Christmas man, but because the world needs stories. And you, somehow, stumbled into one worth telling. You spend the weeks leading up to Christmas preparing. You reach out to the merchant. You tell him you'll do it. He's thrilled. He offers you more money, more packages, more routes. You accept. But this time, you plan. You study maps. You memorize routes. You prepare for storms. You won't get lost again. At least, that's what you tell yourself. Christmas Eve, 1706. Exactly 1 year after the storm. After Tannenbach. After everything changed. You leave the city at dawn. Your satchel is full. Your horse is ready. Your red cloak is clean and patched. You look the part now. Intentionally. The first few deliveries go smoothly. You know where you're going. The families are expecting you. They greet you with smiles and gratitude, but they also expect more. Tell us a story. The children beg. Where are your elves? One asks, did you come from the north? Another whispers. You improvise. You smile. You play the role. You tell them about your workshop in the mountains. About your helpers who carve toys all year. About your list of good children and bad children, though you assure them they're all on the good list. They believe every word. Their parents believe too, or at least they want to. And watching their faces light up, you realize something. This isn't about the truth anymore. It's about the gift of wonder. The gift of believing in something magical, even if just for one night. By midday, you've delivered half your packages. You're ahead of schedule. No storms, no disasters. Everything is going according to plan. Too well, actually, because as you ride toward your next destination, you start to feel it. The weight of expectation, the pressure to be perfect. To be the man in the red cloak who never fails, who always delivers, who brings magic wherever he goes. But you're not magic. You're just Heinrich. And Heinrich is tired. You reach the next village by early afternoon. It's called Winterhof. larger than Tannenbach, more prosperous. The houses are bigger. The streets are cleaner. There's even a small church with a bell tower. You dismount in the town square. Immediately, you're surrounded. Children swarm you. Adults gather. Someone rings the church bell. "He's here!" Someone shouts. "The Christmas man is here." You smile, wave, play the part. But inside, something feels wrong. These people aren't just happy to see you. They're demanding, expectant, entitled. A wealthy-looking man pushes through the crowd. "I paid the merchant extra," he announces. "My family gets the first gifts." You blink. "I deliver based on my route." "I don't care about your route," he snaps. "I paid. My children come first." Before you can respond, another voice calls out. "What about us? We've been waiting all year. My daughter is sick." A woman shouts, "Can you heal her? I heard you can perform miracles." Someone else yells. The crowd presses closer. Voices overlap. Demands pile up. You can't breathe. This isn't wonder. This isn't joy. This is greed. You raise your hands. "Please, everyone, calm down. Just give us the gifts." Someone shouts, "Where are the toys? What about my family? You came to Tannenbach last year. Why not us first?" The noise crescendos. The crowd surges forward. Your horse panics, rearing up. You grab the reins, trying to steady her. And in that moment, you understand. The story has grown too big. The myth has consumed the message. People don't want the Christmas man anymore. They want what he can give them. The gifts, the miracles, the magic. They've turned generosity into transaction, wonder into demand, you into a commodity. You finally managed to distribute the gifts meant for Winterhoff, but there's no joy in it. Just grasping hands and disappointed faces when the packages run out. That's all? Someone complains. "I thought there would be more," another mutters. A child bursts into tears because her gift, a simple wooden doll, isn't as nice as her neighbor's spinning top. You watch it all unfold, something heavy settling in your chest. This isn't what you wanted. This isn't what Tannenbach was. You mount your horse and leave Winterhoff without ceremony. No one cheers. Some people actually boo. Behind you, arguments break out over who got better gifts. You ride away, your heart sick. The next village is smaller, poorer. You approach with caution, expecting more of the same. But something different happens. As you enter, a group of children runs toward you. But they don't swarm. They don't demand. They simply walk alongside your horse, quiet and curious. An elderly woman steps forward. "Welcome," she says simply. "We heard you might come. I have gifts," you say carefully. "But not many." She nods. "Whatever you can share, we're grateful for." You dismount. You distribute the packages. There are only 3. For a village of maybe 20 families. But no one complains. Instead, the families who receive gifts immediately open them, not to hoard, but to share. A toy gets passed around so every child can play with it. A scarf gets tried on by multiple people, everyone admiring it. A small bag of sweets gets divided into tiny portions so everyone gets a taste. You watch, stunned. Why? You ask the elderly woman, "Why share like this?" She looks at you with gentle eyes. "Because the gift isn't the thing," she says. "It's the thought, the kindness, the reminder that someone cares." One gift shared among many is still one gift of love. Your throat tightens. This is what Tannenbach was. This is what the story was supposed to be about. Not greed, not demand, not transaction, but gratitude, community, the simple act of sharing what little you have. You stay in that village for hours, not because you have more deliveries, but because you need to remember this feeling. The children ask for stories. You tell them. They listen with wide eyes and open hearts. The adults offer you food, simple food, but offered with genuine warmth. You eat with them, you laugh with them. As the sun sets, you prepare to leave. The elderly woman approaches. Will you come back next year? You hesitate. After Winterhof, you weren't sure. But now ... Yes, you say. I'll come back. She smiles. Good. The world needs reminders of kindness, even small ones. You nod. You mount your horse and ride into the twilight. Behind you, the village glows with candlelight and contentment. Ahead of you, the road stretches on. And in your heart, something shifts. You understand now. The Christmas man isn't about being perfect, isn't about giving everyone everything, isn't about performing miracles or being a saint. He's about reminding people what matters: kindness, generosity, the small moments of joy in a hard world. Some will understand, some won't, but you'll keep writing anyway, because the story needs to be told, and someone has to tell it. You finish the rest of your deliveries by late evening. Some villages are like Winterhof, grasping, entitled, disappointed. Others are like the nameless small village, grateful, generous, kind. You start to recognize the pattern. The wealthier the village, the more they expect. The poorer the village, the more they appreciate. It's a bitter lesson, but it's an important one. By the time you return to the city, it's well past midnight. Christmas Day has already begun. The streets are empty. Even the taverns are closed. Just you, your horse, and the sound of snow crunching under hooves. You stable your horse. You drag yourself to your room. You collapse onto your bed without even removing your boots. And you sleep. The sleep of the exhausted. The sleep of the confused. The sleep of someone who has just realized that the story he's part of is bigger, stranger, and more complicated than he ever imagined. When you wake, it's afternoon. Christmas Day is half over. You should feel accomplished. You delivered the gifts. You played the role. You survived. But instead, you feel hollow. The joy of Tannenbach is gone. The magic of that first night has faded. What remains is the weight of expectation, the burden of a myth you never asked to create. You sit on the edge of your bed, head in your hands. What have I done? You whisper to the empty room. The room, of course, doesn't answer. The days after Christmas blur together. You try to return to normal work, delivering letters, transporting documents, the usual messenger tasks. But everywhere you go, people recognize you. That's the Christmas man. Did you hear what he did in Winterhof? I heard he only gave gifts to the rich families. No, I heard he refused to give anything to the wealthy. Someone said he can perform miracles. Someone else said he's a fraud. The stories contradict each other. Multiply. Mutate. You've become a legend. And like all legends, the truth is lost in the telling. One evening, you receive a visitor. It's the street performer from the market. The one who made the terrible song about you. He's at your door, grinning, holding a lute. I need to talk to you, he says. You sigh. I'm not interested in songs. Not about a song. About the story. Can I come in? Against your better judgment, you let him in. He sits across from you, setting his lute aside. His expression turns serious. You're upset, he observes. I'm tired, because the story got away from you. You look at him sharply. How did you know? He shrugs. I'm a performer. I know how stories work. You created something beautiful, and then people twisted it, made it about themselves, about what they could get. You nod slowly. So what do I do? You reclaim it, he says simply. How? By controlling the narrative, by being intentional about what the Christmas man represents. Right now, everyone has their own version, their own interpretation, but you're the source. You're the one who can define it. You lean back. I don't want to define anything. I just want to be a messenger. Too late for that, he says, not unkindly. You're a symbol now. The question is, what do you want that symbol to mean? You're quiet for a long time. Finally, you say, generosity, kindness, the idea that even small acts matter, that you don't need wealth or power to make someone's life better. Just ... care. The performer nods. Then that's what we make it mean. We? He grins. You need help. I'm a storyteller. Let me tell your story the right way. The way you want it told. You study him. He's young, ambitious, probably sees an opportunity here. But he's also earnest. And maybe, just maybe, he understands. All right, you say, but no more terrible songs. He laughs. I'll work on it. Over the next few months, you and the performer, his name is Klaus, appropriately enough, work together. He travels to villages, towns, cities. He tells the story of the Christmas man, but he tells it carefully, deliberately. He emphasizes the parts that matter, the kindness, the generosity, the focus on children, on the poor, on those who need hope most. He removes the parts that don't, the miracles, the demands, the entitlement. He creates a narrative, a consistent one. The Christmas man comes once a year. He brings simple gifts. He rewards kindness and generosity, not wealth or status. He appears in the night and vanishes by morning. He asks for nothing in return. It's a good story, a pure story. And slowly, it starts to take hold. By autumn, something has shifted. The letters you receive are different now. Less demanding, more hopeful. We don't need much, just a visit. Just a reminder that we're not forgotten. Our children don't have toys. But if you could come, even just to tell them a story, it would mean the world. We understand you can't come to everyone. But if you have time, we'd be honored. They're not asking for miracles. They're asking for presence, for connection. It's what you wanted from the beginning. Christmas Eve, 1707. 2 years since Tannenbach. 2 years since you got lost and changed everything. You leave the city again. Same red cloak, same horse, same purpose. But this time, you're ready. You've planned your route carefully, not based on payment or status, but on need. You're visiting the smallest villages, the poorest families, the places that need hope most. Your satchel is full, not with expensive gifts, but with simple ones, carved toys, warm scarves, small bags of nuts and dried fruit. Things that matter not because of their value, but because of what they represent. Someone cares. Someone remembers. Someone came. The first village you visit is tiny. 8 families. No church. No square. Just cottages huddled together against the cold. When you arrive, the children don't swarm. They watch with wide, cautious eyes. You dismount slowly. You smile. I'm here to bring Christmas. You say simply. An old woman steps forward. We heard you might come, but we didn't believe it. Believe it, you say. You distribute the gifts. One for each child. Nothing extravagant. A wooden horse. A cloth doll. A spinning top. But the children's faces light up like you've given them the world. One little boy clutches his toy horse and whispers, "Thank you." Your heart swells. This is why you do it. You visit 6 more villages that night. Each one greets you with gratitude, not greed. Each one shares what little they have with you. Bread, soup, warmth. You tell stories. You listen to theirs. You sit by fires and watch children play with their new toys. And somewhere in the cold, dark night, riding from village to village, you realize something. You're not Heinrich anymore. You haven't been for a long time. You're the Christmas man. Not because you wanted to be. Not because you planned it. But because the world needed someone to be. Someone to remind people that kindness exists, that generosity matters. But even in the darkest, coldest times, there's still light. And if that someone has to be you, then so be it. You'll carry the weight. Tell the story. Wear the red cloak. Because some myths are worth believing in. And this one might be the best you've ever heard. The years pass. Every Christmas Eve, you ride out. Every Christmas Eve, you deliver gifts. Every Christmas Eve, you become the man in red. It stops being strange, starts being routine, then starts being something more. A calling. You never intended it to be, but intention doesn't matter anymore. The story has taken on a life of its own, and you're no longer just telling it, you're living it. Klaus, the performer, becomes your partner in this strange endeavor. He travels year-round, spreading the tale, refining the legend. He's gotten better at it. The songs are less terrible now. The stories are more focused. He emphasizes the rules. The Christmas man only comes to those who believe. He rewards kindness, not wealth. He knows who's been good and who hasn't, though he's always willing to give second chances. The narrative grows consistent, solid, real. People start preparing for your arrival. They teach their children about generosity, about sharing, about being good not for reward, but because goodness matters. You hear stories of children helping their neighbors, just so the Christmas man will visit. Of families sharing food with strangers, hoping you'll notice. It's manipulation, in a way. Using belief to encourage behavior. But if the behavior is kindness, is that really so wrong? You're not sure. But you keep writing anyway. By 1711, the story has spread beyond your region. You hear tales of other messengers, in other cities, dressing in red cloaks and delivering gifts. Copying you, becoming you. At first, you're angry. This is your story, your burden. But then you realize, maybe that's the point. Maybe the Christmas man was never supposed to be one person. Maybe he's an idea, a symbol, something anyone can embody. Maybe you were just the first. One winter evening, you're in a tavern when a young man approaches. He's dressed in a red cloak, nervous, eager. Are you him? He asks. The original Christmas man? You study him. Maybe. He sits down uninvited. I want to do what you do. I want to bring gifts, spread joy, be the Christmas man in my region. You sip your ale. Why? Because the world needs it. Because people need something to believe in. Because he hesitates. Because I want to matter. I want to do something good. You recognize that look. That desperation to be part of something larger than yourself. You had it once. Maybe you still do. It's not easy, you tell him. People will expect miracles. They'll be disappointed. They'll twist the story, make demands. Some will hate you. Some will worship you. Most will just use you. He nods. I know. Do you? I've heard the stories. All of them. The good and the bad. And I still want to do it. You lean back. Then do it. But do it right. Don't make it about you. Make it about them. About the people you're helping. About the hope you're giving. He grins. Thank you. He leaves. You watch him go. And you think, maybe the story will outlive you after all. Christmas Eve, 1712. 7 years since Tannenbach. You're 45 now. Your beard is graying. Your joints ache in the cold. Your horse is on her last legs, literally. But you still ride out. Because you're the Christmas man. And the Christmas man doesn't stop. This year, you decide to return to Tannenbach. You haven't been back since that first night. Part of you was afraid. Afraid they'd forgotten. Afraid they'd be disappointed. Afraid the magic of that first encounter would be ruined by reality. But another part of you wants to see it. The place where it all began. You arrive at dusk. The village has grown. More cottages. More people. A proper square now with a well. As you enter, you're recognized immediately. It's him. Someone shouts. The whole village pours out. But they don't swarm. They don't demand. They simply gather, smiling, welcoming. The woman who let you in that first night steps forward. She's older now, grayer, but her eyes are the same. "You came back," she says softly. "I promised I would," you reply. "That was 7 years ago. Better late than never." She laughs, really laughs, and then she hugs you. The village has prepared. There's a feast, music, decorations. They've made it a tradition now, celebrating Christmas Eve as the night the Christmas man first came. You're the guest of honor. You distribute gifts, tell stories. Watch the children, some of whom weren't even born that first night, play and laugh and believe. And as you sit by the fire, surrounded by warmth and gratitude, you realize something. You're happy. For the first time in years, genuinely happy. Not because of the myth, not because of the legend, but because of this simple human connection. This reminder that your life has meant something, that you've made the world, even just a small corner of it, a little bit better. The woman sits beside you. "Do you regret it?" she asks. "Regret what?" "Becoming who you've become. The Christmas man. The symbol. You think about it. Really think about it. Sometimes, you admit, it's exhausting, lonely. People expect too much. And I'm just me." She nods. But I've seen things I never would have seen. Met people I never would have met. Given hope to children who had none. And maybe that's enough. She smiles. It's more than enough. You sit in comfortable silence, watching the fire. Outside, snow begins to fall. And for one perfect moment, everything feels right. You stay in Tannenbach for 3 days. Longer than you should. Longer than you planned. But they insist, and you're too tired to argue. On the second day, the children ask you to tell them the story. The story of how the Christmas man came to be. You hesitate. You've never told the truth before. Always just embellished, mythologized, played the role. But these are the people who were there, who saw you at your most vulnerable, who let you in when you had nothing. So you tell them the truth. You tell them about Heinrich Müller, the messenger, about getting lost in the storm, about the fear, the cold, the desperation, about knocking on a door and being saved by kindness, about making a choice, a stupid, reckless choice to give away gifts that weren't yours, about how that choice became a story, and how that story became a legend, and how that legend became your life. The children listen, enraptured. When you finish, one of them, a girl, maybe 10, asks, "So you're not really magic?" You shake your head. "No, I'm not magic. But you did something magical." She insists. "You made people believe. You made them kinder. That's magic too." You stare at her. Out of the mouths of babes. "Maybe you're right," you say softly. On your last night in Tannenbach, the woman who first let you in asks to speak with you privately. You walk together through the snow-covered village. The sky is clear. Stars everywhere. Your breath makes clouds in the air. "I'm dying," she says suddenly. You stop. "What?" "Not tonight. Not tomorrow. But soon." The physician says, "I have maybe a year. Maybe less." Your heart clenches. "I'm sorry." She waves a hand. "Don't be. I've lived a good life. Raised my children. Saw them grow. Saw this village prosper. I'm content. Then why tell me?" She looks at you. "Because I want you to know what you gave me. What you gave all of us. That night you knocked on my door. I was angry at the world. My husband had died the year before. We had no money. No hope. I was just surviving. Going through the motions." She pauses. Takes a breath. "And then you appeared. A stranger in the snow. offering gifts for no reason, bringing joy for no reward. And I remembered something I'd forgotten, that the world can still be good, that people can still be kind, that magic, real magic, the human kind, still exists. Tears streamed down her face. You feel them on your own. You saved my life, she whispers. Not because you gave me gifts, but because you gave me hope. And I want you to know that. Before I go, I want you to know that you mattered. You pull her into a hug. She's small, fragile, but strong. Thank you, you whisper. No, she says. Thank you. You leave Tannenbach the next morning. The whole village sees you off. They don't cheer. Don't make a spectacle. Just wave quietly, gratefully. The woman is there. She doesn't speak, just smiles. You nod to her. And then you ride away. You don't look back. If you do, you'll cry. And the Christmas man doesn't cry. At least, not where people can see. The months that follow are hard. Winter fades into spring. Spring into summer. Summer into autumn. You take messenger jobs. You travel. You live. But something has changed inside you. You're tired. Bone deep tired. The kind of tired that sleep doesn't fix. You're 50 years old. You've been the Christmas man for 8 years. You've ridden through countless storms, delivered thousands of gifts, told hundreds of stories. And you're starting to wonder, how much longer can you do this? Your horse dies that autumn. Old age. You bury her in a field outside the city. You don't replace her immediately. Klaus visits. He's worried about you. You don't look well, he says. I'm fine. You're not. You're exhausted. You need to rest. Maybe skip this year. You shake your head. I can't. Why not? Because if I stop, the story stops. The story is bigger than you now, Klaus argues. There are other Christmas men. Other people wearing red cloaks, delivering gifts. The idea has spread. You don't have to carry it alone anymore. But I'm the original. I'm the one who started it. So, Klaus leans forward. Heinrich, listen to me. You've done enough. You've given everything. It's okay to rest. You want to believe him. But you can't, because the Christmas man doesn't rest. You buy a new horse. Younger, stronger. Christmas Eve, 1730. 8 years since Tannenbach. You ride out one more time, but this year is different. This year, you're not alone. Klaus rides with you. So do 3 other men. Other messengers who've taken up the red cloak. They've organized themselves, divided regions, coordinated routes. They don't need you, but they want you there anyway. For luck, one of them says. You ride together through the night, delivering gifts, telling stories, spreading hope. And as you watch these young men work, their energy, their enthusiasm, their genuine belief in what they're doing, you realize something. The story doesn't need you anymore. It's evolved beyond you, become something bigger, stranger, more beautiful than you ever imagined. You were just the spark, but they're the fire. At dawn, you part ways. The other Christmas men ride off to their respective regions. Klaus stays with you. How do you feel? He asks. You think about it. Relieved. Really? Really? I thought letting go would be hard. But it's not. It's single quotes S. freeing. Klaus smiles. So what will you do now? I don't know, you admit. Maybe just be Heinrich again. Deliver letters. Live quietly. Let the myth exist without me. You've earned that. You ride in silence for a while. Then Klaus speaks again. She died, you know. The woman from Tannenbach. Your heart stops. When? 2 months ago. Peacefully. In her sleep. You close your eyes. The grief is sharp but clean. She knew it was coming. She was ready. Did she ... You can't finish the sentence. She left you something. Klaus says. He reaches into his satchel and pulls out a small bundle wrapped in cloth. You take it, unwrap it carefully. Inside is the drawing, the one the little girl gave you 8 years ago. The crude charcoal sketch of a man in red surrounded by children. There's a note pinned to it in careful handwriting. For Heinrich. Thank you for reminding us what matters. You were never magic. But you did something magical. And that's all any of us can hope for. You stare at it for a long time. Then you fold it carefully and tuck it into your coat, right next to your heart. The years continue to pass, but you're no longer at the center of the story. The Christmas man phenomenon spreads across the region, then beyond. You hear reports from neighboring provinces. Men in red cloaks delivering gifts. Some are messengers like you. Others are merchants, teachers, former soldiers. People from all walks of life, united by a single idea. Kindness matters. Generosity matters. Hope matters. The details vary. Some ride horses, others travel on foot. Some deliver toys, others bring food. A few even bring books. But the core remains the same. The spirit remains the same. And you watch it all from a distance, amazed. You've become Heinrich again. Just a messenger. You take small jobs, local deliveries. Nothing grand. Nothing mythological. It's peaceful. Almost boring. But boring, you've learned, is underrated. Klaus continues to perform. His songs have gotten quite good, actually. He's written a whole cycle of ballads about the Christmas man. Not you specifically, but the idea, the symbol. He performs them in taverns, markets, festivals. People love them. Children memorize the lyrics. Adults hum the melodies while they work. The story has entered the culture, become part of the fabric of society, and you had almost nothing to do with it. Except for everything. One autumn day in 1716, you receive an unexpected visitor. It's a young woman, maybe 25. She's dressed well but not wealthy. There's an intelligence in her eyes, a purpose. Are you Heinrich Müller? She asks. You're at your small rented room, mending your travel cloak. I am. The original Christmas man? You sigh. You've heard this question too many times. I was, a long time ago. I'm writing a book, she says, about the history of Christmas traditions, about how stories become legends. And I want to include your story, the true story. You set down your needle. Why? Because people deserve to know the truth. That legends aren't born from magic or miracles. They're born from choices. From ordinary people doing extraordinary things. Your story proves that. You study her. She's earnest, passionate. Reminds you of Klaus when he first approached you all those years ago. What do you want to know? You ask. You spend the afternoon telling her everything. The storm, the lost packages, the decision to give them away, the way the story spread, the people you met, the villages you visited, the moment you realized you'd become something bigger than yourself. She takes notes, asks questions, listens carefully. When you finish, she's quiet for a long moment. Do you regret it? She finally asks. It's the same question the woman from Tannenbach asked years ago. Your answer is the same. Sometimes. But mostly no. Why not? Because I've seen what belief can do. Not belief in magic or miracles. Belief in kindness. In generosity. In the idea that one person can make a difference. You pause. I didn't create that belief. It was always there. I just ... reminded people it existed. She smiles. That's beautiful. It's the truth. She closes her notebook. Thank you. This will be the heart of my book. What will you call it? She thinks. Maybe. The Man Who Became Christmas. Or The Messenger's Gift. I'm not sure yet. Call it whatever you want, you say. Just make sure people understand. I'm not special. I was just in the right place at the right time. Anyone could have done what I did. But they didn't, she points out. You did. You have no response to that. Christmas Eve, 1716. 11 years since Tannenbach. You don't ride out this year. Your new horse needs rest. You need rest. The younger Christmas men have it covered. Instead, you stay in the city. You walk through the snow-covered streets, watching families prepare for Christmas. Children pressing their faces against windows, hoping to catch a glimpse of the Christmas man. Parents smiling, playing along with the myth. You see a street performer, not Klaus, someone younger, singing one of the Christmas man ballads. A crowd gathers. They sing along. You stand at the back, anonymous, just another face in the crowd. No one recognizes you. It's perfect. Later that night, you're in your room when there's a knock at the door. It's Klaus. He's holding a bottle of wine and 2 cups. Thought you might be lonely, he says. I'm not lonely. All right. Thought I might be lonely then. You let him in. You drink. You talk. You reminisce. Do you miss it? Klaus asks. Being the Christmas man? Sometimes, you admit. Not the attention, not the expectations, but that feeling. The sense of purpose. The knowledge that what you're doing matters. It still matters, Klaus says. You started something that's changing the world. Slowly, quietly, but it's happening. You nod. I know. So what now? You shrug. Now I live, quietly, simply. Let the myth be the myth. Let Heinrich be Heinrich. That's very Zen of you. I have no idea what that means. Klaus laughs. Neither do I heard a traveler say it once. You drink in comfortable silence. Outside, church bells ring. Midnight. Christmas Day. Merry Christmas, Heinrich, Klaus says. Merry Christmas, Klaus. You clink your cups together. And somewhere in the distance, you hear children laughing. The next morning, you wake to find a small package outside your door. There's no note, no name, just a simple gift wrapped in brown paper. You open it. Inside is a carved wooden figure. A man on horseback wearing a red cloak. You, or rather, the idea of you. You don't know who left it. Maybe Klaus. Maybe one of the other Christmas men. Maybe a child who heard the stories. It doesn't matter. You place it on your windowsill. And every morning after, when you wake, you see it. A reminder. Not of who you were, but of what you did. One choice. One act of kindness. One moment of generosity that changed everything. 1720 arrives quietly. You're 58 now. Your beard is fully gray. Your body aches in ways you didn't know were possible. You've retired from messenger work entirely. You live on a small pension and the occasional odd job. Your life has become small, contained, and you're content with that. The Christmas man phenomenon, meanwhile, has exploded. It's no longer just your region. It's spread across the entire country. You hear stories from merchants who travel. In the south, Christmas men arrive on boats. In the mountains, they travel on foot through treacherous passes. In the cities, wealthy families hire them to visit orphanages and poorhouses. The tradition has splintered, evolved, adapted to local customs. Some Christmas men wear green instead of red. Others wear white. Some arrive on Christmas Eve. Others come on Christmas Day. A few show up on the feast of St. Nicholas in early December. The core idea remains, but the details have become fluid, organic. It's beautiful, in a way. The story has become so big that no single person can control it anymore, not even you. One winter morning, you're at the market buying bread when you overhear a conversation. Two mothers shopping with their children. Have you told them about the Christmas man? One asks. Of course, the other replies. They've been good all year just hoping he'll visit. Mine too. Last week, my son shared his dinner with a beggar. When I asked why, he said, so the Christmas man will know I'm kind. The first mother smiles. It's wonderful, isn't it? This tradition. It makes them better people. I just hope he comes this year. They'll be so disappointed if he doesn't. You stand there, invisible, listening to them discuss you, or rather the idea of you, like you're a force of nature. A season, something inevitable and eternal. It's surreal. You buy your bread and leave before they notice the old man with the gray beard smiling to himself. That evening, Klaus visits. He's older too, though he carries his years better than you. Still performing, still traveling, still spreading the story. I have news, he says, settling into your worn chair. Good or bad? Both. The church is paying attention. Your stomach tightens. And they're not happy. They think the Christmas man tradition is becoming too secular, drawing attention away from the religious meaning of Christmas. Some priests are preaching against it. You close your eyes. You knew this was coming. Religion and folklore have always been uneasy neighbors. What are they saying? That it's pagan, blasphemous. The children should focus on the Christ child, not some mythical gift giver. They're not wrong. You say quietly, I never meant to replace anything. I just wanted to help. I know. But intent doesn't matter now. The story is too big. Klaus leans forward. There's more. Some church leaders want to co-opt it. Turn the Christmas man into a saint. Give him a feast day. Make him official. You laugh. You can't help it. Turn me into a saint? Not you. The idea of you. St. Nicholas was already associated with gift-giving in some regions. They want to merge the traditions. Make it acceptable. Controlled. Let them, you say. If it keeps the tradition alive, if it keeps children believing in kindness, does it matter what they call it? Klaus studies you. You've really let go, haven't you? I had to. The story was never mine to keep. By 1722, the transformation is underway. The church begins officially recognizing a St. Nicholas Day on December 6th. They encourage gift-giving, charity, kindness, but frame it within Christian theology. The Christmas man becomes associated with the saint. The red cloak becomes bishop's robes. The simple messenger becomes a holy figure. You watch it happen with mixed feelings. On one hand, the core message remains: kindness, generosity, hope. On the other hand, it's been sanitized, controlled, made safe. The wildness of that first night, the spontaneity, the accident, the human chaos has been polished away. But maybe that was inevitable. Maybe all myths eventually get domesticated. Christmas Eve, 1722. 16 years since Tannenbach. You're alone in your room, too old to ride, too tired to celebrate. But as midnight approaches, you put on your old red cloak, the one from that first night. It's threadbare now, patched and repatched, but it still fits. You stand in front of your small mirror. The man looking back is old, weathered, gray. But when you squint in the right light, you can still see him. The younger, Heinrich, the messenger who got lost. The accidental saint. You smile. Hello, old friend. You whisper to your reflection. There's a knock at your door. You open it to find a group of children. 5 or 6 of them. Bundled in scarves and mittens. Their breath makes clouds in the cold air. Are you him? The oldest asks. A girl, maybe 12. Am I who? The original Christmas man. My grandfather said he met you once. He said you lived in this building. You study them. Their hopeful faces. Their wide eyes. You could say no. You could send them away. You could maintain your anonymity. But where's the fun in that? I am. You say. They gasp. Actually gasp. We brought you something, the girl says. She holds out a small package. You take it. Unwrap it carefully. Inside is a collection of drawings, all of them showing the Christmas man. Some riding horses, some delivering gifts, some surrounded by children. We made them, the girl explains. to say thank you for everything you've done. For ... Starting it all, your throat tightens. You didn't have to do this. We wanted to, another child says. Because of you, our parents tell us to be kind. Because of you, we have something to believe in. You crouch down to their level. Your knees protest, but you ignore them. Can I tell you a secret? You ask. They lean in. I'm not special. I was just a messenger who got lost in a storm. I made one choice to give instead of keep, and that choice became a story. But the magic wasn't in me. It was in the people who chose to believe, who chose to be kinder because of what they believed. You pause. The real Christmas man isn't me. It's anyone who chooses kindness. Anyone who gives without expecting anything back. Anyone who makes the world a little bit better. The children are quiet, processing. Finally, the youngest, a boy, maybe 6, says, "So we can all be the Christmas man?" You smile. Exactly. They grin at each other, like you've just revealed the greatest secret in the world. And maybe you have. After they leave, you sit by your window. The drawings spread out before you. The craftsmanship is crude. The proportions are wrong. The colors are messy. They're perfect. You look at the carved wooden figure on your windowsill, the man on horseback in the red cloak. Then you look at your reflection in the dark window, old, tired, human, and you think, I did it. Not perfectly, not completely, but I did something. I gave the world a story worth believing in. And in the end, isn't that enough? The winter of 1725 is harsh. The kind of winter that makes you wonder if spring will ever come. The kind where cold seeps into your bones and makes a home there. You're 63. Your body is failing in small ways. Your hands shake. Your vision blurs. You struggle with stairs. Klaus visits less often. He's traveling more, spreading the story to new regions. You don't mind. You understand. The work is more important than the friendship. Besides, you have your memories. And at your age, memories are currency. One particular memory keeps returning. That first night, the storm, the knock on the door, the woman's suspicious face in the candlelight. You remember the exact moment she decided to let you in. The softening in her eyes. The small act of trust that changed everything. Kindness, you've learned, is just trust with action. She trusted that you weren't dangerous. You trusted that sharing the gifts would matter more than following rules. And from that mutual trust, a legend was born. You receive a letter in early December. It's from the young woman who interviewed you years ago. Her book has been published. She's sending you a copy. It arrives a week later, bound in leather. The title embossed in gold. The Messenger's Gift. How One Man Created Christmas. You run your fingers over the cover. Created Christmas is generous. You created a tradition, a story, a myth. Christmas existed long before you, but maybe you added something to it. A new flavor, a new dimension. You open the book. The dedication page reads, "For Heinrich Müller, who proved that ordinary people can create extraordinary magic." You close it quickly. Your eyes are watering. Probably the cold. You read the book over the next few days. It's strange, seeing your life laid out in neat chapters. The narrative arc. The character development. The transformation from Heinrich, the messenger, to the Christmas man, to Heinrich again. She's a good writer. She makes you sound nobler than you were. Braver than you felt. More intentional than you ever managed to be. But she also captures the truth, that the story was always bigger than you. That you were just the spark that lit a fire others had to tend. There's a chapter about Klaus, about the other Christmas men, about the church's appropriation and reframing of the tradition. There's a chapter about Tannenbach, about the woman who let you in, about her death. Reading it breaks your heart and heals it simultaneously. One cold evening, You're reading by candlelight when there's a knock. It's not Klaus. It's one of the other Christmas men. Younger, maybe 30. Earnest face. "I'm sorry to bother you," he says, "but I need advice." You gesture him in. He sits, nervous. "I've been doing this for 3 years," he says, "delivering gifts, playing the role, and I love it. But lately ... didn't will expect so much. They want miracles, perfection, and I'm just a man. I'm failing them." You nod slowly. "You're not failing them. You're just human. But they don't want human. They want the myth." "Then give them the myth," you say. "But remember who you are underneath. The myth is what you do. Your humanity is who you are. Don't confuse the two." He frowns. "How do I do both?" "You put on the cloak. You deliver the gifts. You tell the stories. You be the Christmas man. You pause. But then you take off the cloak. You go home. You live your life. You remember that you're also just a man trying to do good in a complicated world." He's quiet for a long moment. "Did you manage that balance?" You laugh. Bitter, honest. "No. I lost myself in the myth for years. Forgot I was Heinrich. Forgot I was allowed to be tired, confused, human. Don't make my mistake. How did you find yourself again?" I let go. I accepted that the story wasn't mine anymore, that it never really was. The young Christmas man nods slowly. "Thank you. One more thing," you add as he stands to leave. "The children don't need perfect. They need present. They need someone who shows up, who tries, who cares. That's all." He smiles, a real smile. "I can do that." Then you're already succeeding. Christmas Eve, 1725. 20 years since Tannenbach. 2 decades since a messenger got lost in a storm and accidentally invented a tradition. You're too old to ride now, too tired to deliver gifts, too human to be the myth, but you still put on the red cloak, still stand at your window and watch the snow fall. Somewhere in the city, dozens of Christmas men are riding out, delivering gifts, spreading hope, continuing the work. They're better at it than you ever were. Younger, stronger, more organized. They don't need you, and that's beautiful. Around midnight, Klaus arrives. He's brought wine and bread and cheese. You eat together in comfortable silence. 20 years, Klaus finally says. 20 years. You echo. Did you ever imagine it would get this big? No. I thought I'd deliver a few gifts and go home. Maybe get fired. Klaus laughs. Instead, you started a movement. I got lost in a storm. You made the right choice in the moment. That's all any of us can do. You sip your wine. It's good. Better than you can usually afford. Klaus probably spent too much. Do you think it will last? You ask. The tradition. After I'm gone. After you're gone. After everyone who remembers the beginning is gone. Klaus considers. I think the story will last. Whether it's accurate or not, I don't know. Stories change. Evolve. In 100 years, they might say you flew through the air. That you lived at the North Pole. That you had magical reindeer. You snort. Magical reindeer? Who knows? The point is, the core will remain. Kindness. Generosity. The idea that giving matters. As long as that survives, the details don't matter. You think about that. I hope you're right. I'm always right, Klaus says with mock seriousness. You throw a piece of bread at him. Later, after Klaus is gone, you stand at your window again. The city is quiet, peaceful, blanketed in snow. You think about all the Christmases you've lived, all the gifts delivered, all the children's faces, all the stories told. You think about the woman from Tannenbach, about her final words. You did something magical, and you realize she was right. Not because you had powers, not because you were special, but because you chose to believe that one small act could matter. And it did. It mattered more than you ever imagined. You remove the red cloak, fold it carefully, place it in your trunk. Tomorrow, you'll wake up as Heinrich, just Heinrich, the messenger who got lost, the man who became a myth, the human who created magic, and that's enough, more than enough. It's everything. Spring comes eventually. It always does. The snow melts. The streets turn to mud. The world thaws. You turn 64 in April. Klaus brings you a small cake. It's lopsided and probably burned on one side, but you eat it anyway and pretend it's delicious. You're a terrible baker, you tell him. And you're a terrible liar, he replies. It's a good day. The years between Christmases blur together now. You've stopped taking messenger work entirely. Your hands shake too much. Your vision is too poor. Your body simply can't handle the demands. Instead, you spend your days reading, walking slowly through the city, watching the world change around you. The young woman's book has become popular. You see copies in shop windows. Hear people discussing it in taverns. The story of the original Christmas man has become part of the cultural conversation. You remain anonymous. No one recognizes the old man shuffling through the market as the subject of the book. You're just another gray-bearded elder. Invisible. It's perfect. That summer, you receive news that stops your heart. Klaus has died. A fever. Quick. Merciful. He was 52. You sit with the news for hours. Can't process it. Can't accept it. Klaus was the story's keeper. Its guardian. Its most passionate advocate. How can the story continue without him? But then you remember, the story isn't about individuals anymore. It's bigger than any one person. Bigger than you. Bigger than Klaus. It lives in the collective consciousness now. In songs, in traditions, in the hearts of everyone who ever believed. Klaus is gone, but what he built remains. You attend the funeral. It's small, just fellow performers, a few friends. And you, they don't recognize you. They know Klaus had a friend, an old messenger, but they don't connect you to the Christmas man. That's how you want it. During the service, one of Klaus's protégés performs. A young woman with a beautiful voice. She sings one of Klaus's Christmas man ballads. It's the one about the storm, about the knock on the door, about the choice to give. It's the one about you. You cry, openly. No one notices or cares. Afterward, you walk through the city, aimless, lost in memory. You think about meeting Klaus, about his terrible first song, about how he believed in the story before you did, about how he made it beautiful. You stop at a tavern, order ale, raise your glass to the empty chair across from you. To Klaus, you whisper, the better storyteller, the better man. You drink. The ale tastes like grief. Christmas Eve, 1726. 21 years since Tannenbach. 1 year since you last saw Klaus alive. You're alone in your room. The red cloak hangs in your wardrobe. Untouched for a year. You take it out. Run your fingers over the fabric. It's ancient now. More patched than original cloth. But it survived, like you. You put it on one last time. It still fits. Barely. You look in the mirror. The man staring back is old. Frail. Nothing like the messenger who rode through that storm 2 decades ago. But when you squint in the candlelight, you can still see him. The younger Heinrich. The accidental hero. You smile at your reflection. We did all right, didn't we? Your reflection doesn't answer, but you imagine it would agree. There's a knock at your door. You open it to find a small delegation. 3 of the Christmas men. Young. Nervous. Respectful. We're sorry to disturb you, the oldest says. But we wanted to ask, would you ride with us? Tonight. One last time. You blink. I'm too old. We know. But it's been 21 years. We thought ... it would be fitting to have the original Christmas man ride one more time. If you're willing, if you're able, you look at them. Their hopeful faces, their earnest eyes. They're offering you something precious, a chance to be the myth one last time. But more than that, they're offering you closure. Yes, you hear yourself say. All right, they've prepared a horse for you, old like you, gentle, patient. They've prepared a route. Just a few villages, close together, nothing strenuous. They've prepared everything so you won't have to. You mount the horse. Your body protests, but you ignore it. The other Christmas men mount their horses, 4 riders in red, united by a shared purpose, and together you ride into the night. The first village is small, poor, familiar. You've been here before, years ago. The people remember. It's him, someone shouts. The original. They gather, not demanding, not grasping, just grateful. You distribute the gifts. Your hands shake, but no one minds. The children stare at you with wonder. The adults with respect. One old woman approaches. She must be 80 at least. I was a child when you first came, she says. You gave me a wooden doll. I still have it. I gave it to my granddaughter. She shows you a carved figure, worn, loved, ancient. You remember making that delivery, a lifetime ago. Thank you, she whispers. For everything, you nod. Can't speak. Don't trust your voice. The second village is similar. And the third. Each one welcomes you like a legend returned. Each one treats you with reverence. But there's also love. Real, human love. These people don't see the myth. They see an old man who tried his best, who cared when he didn't have to, who gave when he could have kept. They see Heinrich, and they love him for it. By dawn, you're exhausted. Every muscle aches. Your vision swims. You're running on memory and will alone. The other Christmas men notice. We should get you home, one says gently. One more stop, you insist. Where? Tannenbach. The ride to Tannenbach takes 2 hours. You nearly fall off your horse 3 times, but you persist, because you need to see it one last time, the place where it all began. When you arrive, the village is just waking. Smoke rises from chimneys. Children play in the snow. No one recognizes you at first. 21 years have passed. The children are grown. The adults are old. The old are gone. But then someone looks closer. An elderly man with kind eyes. Heinrich? He asked tentatively. Is that you? It's the old man from that first night. The one who was carving by the fire. He's ancient now. Bent with age. But alive. It's me, you confirm. He stumbles forward. Hugs you. He's crying. We thought you'd never come back, he says. After that second visit, we thought you'd forgotten us. I could never forget, you reply. This is where it started. Where I learned what mattered. Word spreads. The village gathers. Not the whole village, many have died. Many have left. But enough. Enough to remember. They don't treat you like a myth. They treat you like an old friend returning home. Someone brings you soup. Someone else brings a chair. They sit you by a fire in the square, and you tell them the truth, all of it. How you were just a messenger. How you got lost. How you made a choice that changed your life. How you've spent 21 years trying to live up to a myth you never meant to create. They listen, silent, respectful. When you finish, the old man speaks. You think you didn't live up to the myth, he says, but you're wrong. The myth was about kindness, about giving, about caring, and you did that every day, in every way you could. The myth became real because you lived it. You want to argue, to say you failed more than you succeeded, that you made mistakes, that you were just human. But looking at their faces, you realize they know. They've always known. And they loved you anyway. Not despite your humanity, because of it. You stay in Tannenbach for 3 days, resting, remembering, saying goodbye, though you don't tell them that's what you're doing. On the 3rd day, as you prepare to leave, the old man gives you something. It's a small wooden carving. A man in a red cloak, sitting by a fire, surrounded by people. "This is how we remember you," he says. "Not riding through storms, not performing miracles, just being here, being present, being kind." You take it. Hold it carefully. "Thank you," you whisper. You mount your horse. The 3 younger Christmas men wait patiently. The village sees you off, not with cheers, with quiet waves, with love. And as you ride away, you know you'll never see this place again. But it doesn't matter, because you were here. You mattered. You made a difference, and that's enough. The winter of 1727 comes like a whisper, soft, inevitable, final. You're 65. Your body has become a collection of aches and limitations. You struggle to walk, to breathe, to exist in the cold. The doctor visits in November. He's blunt. Your heart is weak. You have maybe a few months, maybe less. Keep warm. Rest. Don't exert yourself. You nod. You've known for a while. Your body has been telling you, screaming at you actually, but you've been ignoring it. "What about Christmas?" you ask. The doctor frowns. "What about it? Can I ride? One last time?" Absolutely not. The cold alone could kill you. The exertion certainly would, so that's a maybe. The doctor doesn't laugh. "I'm serious, Heinrich. If you want to see another spring, you stay inside. Stay warm. Stay alive. After he leaves, you sit by your window, watching snowfall. One last ride sounds foolish. Suicidal even, but also ... perfect. December arrives. The Christmas men are preparing. You hear their plans, their routes, their strategies. They're good at this now. Better than you ever were. They've turned your accident into a system, your spontaneity into tradition. You're proud of them, but you're also heartbroken, because this will be the first Christmas in 22 years that you don't ride. Not by choice, by necessity. Your body won't allow it. Even your stubbornness has limits. Mid-December, you receive unexpected visitors, all of them. Every Christmas man in the region. 15 riders in red cloaks. They crowd into your small room. It's chaos. Beautiful chaos. "We have a proposal," the oldest says. He's the one who rode with you last year. Respectful. Serious. "I'm listening. We want to make this year special. 22 years since Tannenbach. We want to honor that. Honor you." You shift uncomfortably. "I don't need honoring. Not for you," he interrupts gently. "For the tradition. For the story. We want to make a pilgrimage. All of us, to Tannenbach. On Christmas Eve. To deliver gifts together. To remember where it started." Your throat tightens. "That's beautiful. And we want you to come with us." You shake your head. "I can't. The doctor said..." We know what the doctor said. We talked to him. He said you could ride if you stayed warm, didn't exert yourself, and had people watching you constantly. You blink. "You talked to my doctor?" "We want you there," another rider says. "Not to lead. Not to perform. Just to be present. To witness what you created." You look at them. These young men who've taken up your accidental calling. Who've made it their life's work. "Why?" you ask quietly. "Why does it matter if I'm there?" "Because stories need endings," the oldest says. "And this is yours. 22 years. Full circle. Back to where it began. It's right. You sit with that. The weight of it. They're offering you closure. A chance to see the full arc of your story. To be present for the ending. How can you refuse? "Yes," you say. "I'll come." They cheer. Actually cheer. You can't help but smile. They prepare everything. They get you the warmest cloak, the gentlest horse. They plan rest stops, bring extra blankets, arrange for a cart to follow in case you can't continue. They think of everything. On Christmas Eve morning, you wake feeling strangely peaceful. Today's the day. You dress slowly, layer upon layer, wool and fur and determination. You look at yourself in the mirror one last time. The man staring back is old, tired, dying probably. But his eyes are bright, because today he gets to be the Christmas man one last time. The ride is slow, careful. The other Christmas men surround you like an honor guard, protecting you from wind, from cold, from your own fragility. You stop every hour. They check on you, offer you food, water, warmth. I'm fine. You keep saying, we know. They keep replying. But we're checking anyway. It takes most of the day to reach Tannenbach. A journey that once took you 2 hours now takes 8. But you make it. As the sun sets, you crest the final hill. And there it is. Tannenbach. The village has grown. More cottages, more people, but the core remains the same. The square, the church, the sense of community. You feel tears on your cheeks. Don't remember starting to cry. Are you all right? Someone asks. I'm home, you whisper. The village has been expecting you. The entire population gathers in the square. Hundreds of people. Children, adults, elders. Torches light the darkness. Candles glow in every window. It looks like something out of a dream. As you ride in, they begin to sing. Not a Christmas man ballad. Not one of Klaus's songs. Something older. Something simpler. A hymn about hope, about kindness, about light in darkness. You dismount with help. Your legs barely hold you, but you stand. The crowd parts. And walking toward you is an old man you recognize. The man who was carving by the fire that first night, who gave you shelter and warmth. He's 90 if he's a day, but he's smiling. Welcome home, Heinrich, he says. You embrace. 2 old men who witnessed the beginning, who survived to see what it became. Thank you, you whisper. For everything, thank you, he replies. For reminding us what matters. The celebration lasts hours. Food, music, stories. The 15 Christmas men distribute gifts to every child in the village. You watch from a chair by the fire, too weak to participate, but content to witness. Children come to you throughout the night, not demanding, just wanting to meet you, to see the original. You're smaller than I imagined, one girl says. You laugh. Sorry to disappoint. You're not disappointing, she says seriously. You're real. That's better than big. Out of the mouths of babes. As midnight approaches, the old man from that first night asks to speak. The crowd quiets. He's frail. His voice shakes, but his words are strong. 22 years ago, a stranger knocked on a door. A messenger, lost in a storm. My daughter-in-law let him in, fed him, gave him shelter. He pauses, gathers strength. That messenger made a choice, to give gifts meant for others to us, to trust that the act would matter more than the rules. And it did. It mattered more than anyone could have imagined, because it reminded us of something we'd forgotten, that we matter, that kindness matters, that even in the darkest, coldest times, there's still light. He turns to you. Heinrich Müller. You think you're not special, that you just got lost, but you're wrong. Because special isn't about magic or miracles. Special is about showing up, about caring, about choosing to give when you could have kept. You did that, and you taught us to do it too. The crowd applauds, long, heartfelt. You sit there overwhelmed, unable to speak. The old man walks over, places a hand on your shoulder. Thank you, he says simply, for knocking on that door. Later, much later, when the celebration is quieted and most people have gone home, you sit by the fire with the old man and the 15 Christmas men. Do you think it will continue? You ask. After I'm gone? The tradition? The oldest Christmas man asks. Absolutely. It's too big to stop now. Too many people believe. But will it stay true to the original spirit? They're quiet for a moment. Finally, one of them says, probably not. Stories change. Traditions evolve. In 100 years, they might not remember you at all. They might say the Christmas man flies through the air, lives forever, knows everything. You smile sadly. So it will all be forgotten. No, the old man interrupts. The details will be forgotten, but the heart won't. The idea that kindness matters, that giving is better than keeping, that one person can make a difference. He leans forward. That's what will survive. Not your name, not your face, but your message. And isn't that better? Another writer adds. To have your message outlive you? To know that long after you're gone, people will still be kinder because of what you started. You think about that, and you realize they're right. You don't need to be remembered. You just need the idea to survive. The message, the hope, the belief. That's the real gift. You spend the night in Tannenbach, in the same cottage where you first knocked. It's been renovated, expanded, but the fire still burns in the same hearth. You sleep deeply, dreamlessly, and when you wake, Christmas morning has arrived. Your 22nd Christmas as the Christmas man, and your last. The journey back to the city takes 2 days. You're too weak to ride more than a few hours at a time. The Christmas men don't mind. They stay with you. Take turns keeping watch. Make sure you're comfortable. You protest the attention, but secretly, you're grateful. When you finally reach home, you're exhausted to your very soul. The Christmas men help you inside, get you settled. Make sure you have food and warmth. We'll check on you tomorrow, the oldest says. You don't have to, we want to. After they leave, you sit in your chair by the window. The carved figure from Tannenbach sits on the windowsill. Next to it, the one you received years ago. The man on horseback in the red cloak. Two versions of the same story, the myth and the reality. You trace the wood grain with shaking fingers. We did all right, you whisper to the figures, to yourself, to whoever might be listening. January passes, then February. You grow weaker each day. The doctor visits regularly now. He doesn't say much. Doesn't need to. You both know. The Christmas men visit often. They bring food, tell you stories about their deliveries, keep you connected to the tradition you started. You listen more than you speak now, conserving energy, conserving words. One afternoon in March, the oldest Christmas man arrives with news. The young woman's book, he says. The one about you. It's being translated into French, German, even English. The story is spreading beyond our borders. You manage a smile. Good. There's more. Artists are making paintings. Of that first night, of you knocking on the door. They're calling it the birth of Christmas. You laugh weakly. Dramatic. Maybe, but true. Spring arrives, but you barely notice. Your world is shrunk to your room, your chair, your window. You sleep most of the day now. Dream of snow and horses and children's faces lit by firelight. Sometimes, in your dreams, you're young again, riding through storms, delivering gifts, being the myth. Other times, you're just Heinrich, the messenger, lost and confused, but somehow finding his way. Both versions feel true. Both versions are you. One evening in April, as the sun sets, you have a visitor you don't expect. It's the little girl from Tannenbach, the one who gave you the drawing 22 years ago. Except she's not little anymore. She's a woman now, 28 or 29, married by the look of her ring. I had to see you, she says, sitting beside your chair, before ... will quote she doesn't finish. Doesn't need to. I'm glad you came. You say she takes your hand. It's warm, solid, real. Do you remember me? She asks. The drawing. The man in red surrounded by children. She smiles. I still have it. I'm going to give it to my daughter. Tell her the story of the man who started Christmas. I didn't start Christmas. You started our Christmas, she interrupts gently. The one where kindness matters, where giving is better than keeping, where ordinary people can do extraordinary things. She squeezes your hand. Thank you for that. Thank you for showing us that magic is real. Not fairy tale magic. Human magic. The magic of choosing to care. Your eyes water. You're gonna make an old man cry. Good, she says. You've earned the right to cry. You sit together in comfortable silence, watching the sunset paint your room in gold and amber. Finally, she stands, kisses your forehead. Goodbye, Heinrich. May your journey be peaceful. Goodbye, you whisper. She leaves. You know you'll never see her again. But somehow, that's all right. The next few weeks blur together. Day and night lose meaning. You drift in and out of consciousness. Sometimes you wake to find the Christmas men sitting with you. Sometimes it's the doctor. Sometimes you're alone. You don't mind the alone times. They give you space to think, to remember, to make peace. One afternoon, you wake to find all 15 Christmas men crowded into your small room. They've brought flowers, food, their presents. We wanted to thank you, the oldest says, one last time. For everything? You try to speak, but your voice fails. One of them seems to understand. You don't have to say anything. We know. They stay for hours, taking turns telling stories. About deliveries, about children's reactions, about villages that now celebrate Christmas with genuine joy because of the tradition you started. They tell you about plans to formalize the network, to create a guild of Christmas men, to ensure the tradition survives for generations. We're calling it the Order of St. Nicholas, one explains. In your honor, you want to laugh. You're no saint, just a messenger who got lost. But if calling you a saint helps the tradition survive, you'll allow it. Small price for immortality. Late April brings rain. The sound drums against your window. Soothing, constant. You lie in bed, too weak to rise. The doctor has stopped coming. There's nothing left he can do. You're dying. You've known for weeks. Months, really. But now it's not abstract. It's immediate, present, real. You should be afraid, but you're not. You're ready. You've lived 65 years. Made mistakes. Made magic. Hurt people. Helped people. Been human in all its messy glory. And in the end, you mattered. You made a difference. You gave the world something beautiful. What more can anyone ask? Your last evening comes quietly. The sun sets. Rain continues to fall. You lie in bed, breathing slowly. Each breath an effort. The oldest Christmas man sits with you. He doesn't speak. Just holds your hand. Tell me, you whisper. Honestly. Was it worth it, the story? The myth, everything. He thinks carefully before answering. Yes, unquestionably yes. Because of you, thousands of children have received gifts. Thousands of families have felt hope. Entire villages have learned to be kinder. And it will continue, long after both of us are gone. He pauses. You didn't just deliver gifts, Heinrich. You delivered the idea that the world can be better. That ordinary people have the power to create change. That kindness is the greatest magic we possess. That's worth it. That's worth everything. You nod slowly. Accept his words. Let them settle into your bones. Thank you, you breathe. No, he says, tears in his eyes. Thank you. As night deepens, your breathing grows shallower. Images flash through your mind, not in order. Just fragments. Memories. The storm. The knock on the door. The woman's suspicious face softening. The children's joy. The gifts. The villages. The years of writing. Klaus's terrible songs. The book. Tannenbach. The fire. The faces. So many faces. All of it connected by a single thread. Kindness. You chose kindness once, in a moment of exhaustion and confusion. And that choice rippled outward, became a wave, became a tide, became a tradition. Not because you were special, but because kindness is always special. Around midnight, something shifts. The pain fades, the struggle eases. You feel light. The oldest Christmas man is still there, still holding your hand. It's time, you whisper. I know, he says. The story will continue, I promise. You smile. Good. You close your eyes. Not from exhaustion, from peace. In the darkness behind your eyelids, you see it all one last time. The snow, the cottages, the children, the light. And standing in the doorway, that first night, is the woman from Tannenbach. Young again, smiling. Welcome home, she says. Heinrich Müller dies on April 28, 1728. He's buried in a small cemetery outside the city. The headstone is simple. Heinrich Müller, messenger, friend, the first Christmas man. Below that, someone has carved. He reminded us to be kind. The funeral is attended by hundreds. Christmas men from across the region. Villagers from Tannenbach. People whose lives he touched. Children who received his gifts. They don't mourn, not really. They celebrate. Because Heinrich wouldn't want tears. He'd want laughter, joy, stories. So they tell stories, for hours. About the messenger who got lost. About the gifts. About the tradition. About how one man's accident became a movement. And as the sun sets, 15 riders in red cloaks mount their horses. They ride out together, into the twilight, continuing the work. Because the Christmas man is dead, but the Christmas man lives on. The years pass. The tradition spreads across borders, across languages, across cultures. The details change, the name changes. St. Nicholas becomes Sinterklaas, becomes Santa Claus. The red cloak becomes a red suit. The horse becomes reindeer. The simple gifts become elaborate toys. The myth grows bigger, stranger, more fantastical. By 1800, children believe he lives at the North Pole, that he sees everything, knows everything, flies through the air on Christmas Eve, delivering billions of gifts. It's absurd, impossible, nothing like the original. But the heart remains. The message survives. Be kind. Be generous. Believe that small acts matter. Believe that ordinary people can create extraordinary change. That's Heinrich's real gift. Not the toys, not the tradition, but the reminder that kindness is magic. The truest magic we have. December 24th, 2025. 320 years after Heinrich Müller got lost in a storm. Children around the world go to bed early, hoping to catch a glimpse of Santa Claus. Parents stay up late, wrapping presents, maintaining the myth. No one remembers Heinrich. No one knows the true story. But they practice his lesson anyway. They give, they share, they love, and somewhere in the space between history and myth, maybe Heinrich smiles, because the story wasn't about him. It was never about him. It was about what humans can be when they choose kindness over convenience, generosity over greed, hope over despair. That's the real Christmas magic. And it's alive in every gift given, every kindness shown, every small act of love performed on a cold winter night. Heinrich Müller, the messenger who got lost, taught the world how to find its way. And 3 centuries later, we're still following the path he accidentally created, still knocking on doors, still offering warmth, still believing in the magic of human kindness. The Christmas man is dead. Long live the Christmas man. Long live the message. Long live the hope. If you made it this far, you've witnessed the birth of a legend. Subscribe before you forget the lesson. Because in a world that needs more Heinrich Müllers, maybe you're next. Sleep well, dream of snow, and tomorrow choose kindness. It might just change the world.